ask you this just because you sort of brought it up, that, you know, there's a feeling out there from some people that that the overprescription of opiates has caused the heroin epidemic, an opiate epidemic we now have nationwide, which is killing people every day. Is that something you agree with?
I don't have enough information to be able to jump to that conclusion, but it certainly sounds like a plausible theory. The complacency with which we prescribe narcotics is definitely a scary thing. I think the other piece is just the attitude that a pill can fix you is fraught with flawed thinking. You know, bless my mom and dad, you know, they go to the doctor and they expect a pill to fix them. And that's been the evolution of medicine since the 1940s. And so they're totally indoctrinated into that way of thinking. The pill's never going to fix you. A pill covers something up. I mean, would you ever even think if the red light popped on to the dashboard on your car driving to a service station, asking the attendant to give you a screwdriver and take the screwdriver and break the red light on the car, give the screwdriver back, and drive off and say thank you very much? I'm Dr. Stephen B. Heird, and I'm here at the Advanced Vein and Laser Center. And I recently published a book called To Hell and Back, 12 Prescriptions for Awareness, a surgeon's story of addiction. I dedicate this book to my loving mother and father for their unwavering faith and support for me throughout the entire journey. Thank you, Mom, for reading my favorite childhood book, The Little Engine That Could, to me over and over. The story still inspires me to this day. I've come to learn a lot about addiction, and beginning with the truth is that, for myself, and it's outlined in my book, is my experiences in retrospect. It's clear that I had addictive thinking and addictive behavior patterns and addictive choices for years, and was completely unaware of it. One could argue that I was a exercise addict, or I was a workaholic. And a pattern that I had was I would work hard at studying and then I would play hard at partying. And even that pattern can be an indication that there's something going on that could benefit from a closer look, so to speak. I was the head of the Department of Vascular Surgery at a large community hospital, training surgical residents and performing very challenging, life-saving surgeries, and I was proud of my accomplishments. I had met all my goals and forged my dreams into reality. I was a farm boy who used to help my dad with raising and slaughtering turkeys. My parents had graduated from high school with modest grades, but I grew up determined to become a skilled physician. I was never an alcoholic based upon the traditional beliefs of an alcoholic. I was addicted to painkillers, but I had alcoholic thinking, and I was a functional drinker. I never showed up on the job drinking, and when the physical addiction of narcotics became profound enough, then I took pain pills to be normal, to not have physical withdrawals, to not feel like I was having a cold or flu symptoms, but not to be high. The empty feeling inside me was so uncomfortable that I tried to fill it with addictive behaviors, whether it was exercise, work, sex, thinking, or worrying. There was always something to be done. When there was a goal in front of me, I was dogged about reaching it, and often very creative. But no matter what I did, I couldn't fill that hole. I always felt I hadn't accomplished enough, or more accurately, I wasn't enough. Now, I'm only a doctor. I'm a bit educated, but I'm not very smart when it comes to addiction. They don't spend any time on that in medical school, truly. And unless you're an addictionologist, I don't think very many doctors understand it even to this day. The Pennsylvania Medical Society is putting forth some efforts to educate physicians in narcotics and the dispensing of narcotics to patients to try to better understand the patterns and the problems that are occurring. As a physician myself, I was totally puzzled by what was happening to me. Now I understood the physical addiction, and so I would stop taking the pills completely and say, I just can't do that. What would occur is then I would have a drink or two and do that for several weeks when it was appropriate, but realized that I wasn't getting the effect that I was accustomed to and looked forward to. The effect being that state of relaxation or numbness that I needed to be relieved from that which I didn't want to feel.
This book is an extension of my new commitment to living according to my purpose in this lifetime. In AA, I learned that by listening to other people's stories of falling down and getting back up, I could gain insights about my own experiences. I felt a sense of hope that, like them, I too could rebuild my life.
I knew in my heart that I wasn't going to be able to stop again because the withdrawal symptoms had been rather strong. And despite that, it was a Sunday afternoon, and I can remember putting that pill in my mouth and a voice in my head saying, don't do it, you're never going to be able to stop again, but not being able to control that impulse, that action, that behavior. At that point, I was powerless over the disease.
It took a lot of hard work to recognize this truth about myself and why I couldn't stop running and simply be present with myself. I had to discover who I was and experience that I've always loved. I don't have to earn everyone's approval to be worthy of love.
It's a pattern, and that's why it's not that simple to explain and for you to understand. I may have taken a pill on a vacation because it made sense to supplement a drink. And that may have been it. Maybe I took a pill from a supplement, from a sample that I was saving for a special event. That's the way the thinking goes, where you would want not to drink too much, but have a sense of the experience of the pill. And so that pattern was 10 years, at least.
I had an accomplished wife, 3 wonderful sons, and a beautiful little girl who I had recently adopted from China. We led a busy, middle-class life in a lovely 5-bedroom house in the suburbs of York, Pennsylvania. I was able to send my boys to good schools. I was proud of my BMW. It was all paid for by my rapidly increasing financial worth and the results of long hours spent building a vascular surgery practice with my partner.
It may have been 4 or 5 times a year. That was it. And then the next year, maybe it was 10 times a year. And then the next year, maybe it was 15 times. One of the big guilt experiences that addicts experience is, oh my God, I'm hiding this, and it's a secret, and so it's a lonely place that you're occupying as this is starting to evolve and develop in your behavior patterns.
As I began to free myself from addiction, addictive thinking and behavior, I began to realize that happiness does not have to disappear like a cloud in morning that lifts as soon as the sun starts to raise in the sky. I could hold on to it. I became content with simply being present in a moment. And in that moment, I reconnect with my sense of purpose and my childhood desire to be a healer.
I now recognize that we live in a disease maintenance industry. The healthcare system isn't broken, it's fraudulent. And so my push is to develop wellness centers that really focus on the mind, body, and spirit of the individual. And that all 3 aspects is what really makes a person whole and healthy.
So, at age 49, after having spent decades pursuing the American dream of success story and happy life, I could confidently say that I had arrived. But looking back on the years leading up to the day my life did a 180, every time I reached a goal, I didn't stop to appreciate it.